All right. Well, it's another Sunday. We're playing together. I missed last Sunday. I had some other stuff going on. Here I am in the space rig. I'll invite some people here who are online and who aren't away. Well, I'll try someone who's away. We'll see if they're there. So, we've got a whole new update in this game. I don't know if you guys have all played it yet. Yeah. Oh, Ando's here. Or he's loading in. In the meantime, there's that seagull. God, that's great. I love that seagull. Look at that. See, you know, it's great to be free and to fly through the air, but imagine standing on someone's back as they fly through the air. Now that's real freedom. Just kind of puts his wings out like, I'm feeling some breeze. Oh, okay. Then he gets bucked off. I like that. Good old seagull. We might be just you and me, Ando, starting off. What's Ando got? Lethal enemies, drill dozer. And I've got... we could probably do Ando's first. Hazard 3. It's all good.
Mission is ready.
This beer probably won't help, but we'll get it anyway. Got my coffee. Oh, this is in dense biozone? Oh, Ando's gunner, huh? Probably gonna go...
Get in my gut.
We could go double gunner. Who cares?
Cheers,
This works.
when
When I play with Krogan,
sequence initiated.
he never wants us to be the same class. On any game, right? If we're playing a game, he's always like, well, let's spread out. Let's get all the different classes. That's one of his things. Me, I'm like, I think it's kind of fun sometimes to do like 4 engineers, just have turrets everywhere, 4 gunners, 4 drillers. Everyone just drills their own way. Like no one has to like drill a path for their team. You can just all drill your own path, or teams of 2, right? For a driller. Because one can drill while the other's cooling down. Notice some frame drops during this opening session, more than usual.
Okay, team, you've signed up for escort duty. Our target is an Omran Hearthstone.
Okay.
And your job
I was
is
gonna
to
blow those
protect
up,
and
but he's gonna
maintain
go
the
mine over there.
bulldozer as it makes its way there. Get ready.
So, Eric K, Ruiner, Victorian, how's it going? I hear Victorian's gonna be... What the heck's going down into the floor? See that? Way down there? What is that? Oh, it's gone now. Victorian's drinking today. I'm taking a break from drinking. Just got my coffee. Sticking with that for now. Any nitro around? See much. Well, I guess we're going then.
Drill dozer moving. Everything looks fine, but expect that to change soon.
The Raiders are prime objective. Let's do our best.
Victorian says rock and stone. That's a great saying.
That's it, lads. Rock and stone. Rock and stone.
Victorian says we should adopt that saying, or better yet, the phrase by stone and steel. I assume that's a reference to something. Nero, how's it going? Oh my gosh. Anything up here? I'll get in front of the dozer, look around. Oh my gosh.
We've got a crisis detonator here.
Well, this is an okay mission for the detonator, Crassus. Although, if it blows up on the dozer... So don't kill it on the dozer if you can there, Andu.
I want to punch the guy in R&D
So, like, it would be bad to kill it right now. But it's getting better and better and better.
Here, get into cover. Fire in the hole!
Okay, come on. This would be a great time to kill it. Okay. Ando, where the heck were you?
Born, baby.
Don't die to it. And whoop. Repair this. We can always go back for the gold later, right? So obviously that Crassus detonator explodes and turns everything into gold around it. That's the deal with the Crassus. We have Molly in this mission. You can see there's some of the gold there. Oh.
Swarm on intercept course. Get ready to
Here's the rest of the gold. We can bring Molly to help us get all this gold later. Uh-oh. A lot of stuff. Get out of here, jellyfish. Oh yeah, I forgot about this. Should be using this. Oh, I overwent. Boing! Look at that. So this is one of the new guns, part of the new update. And you just whoop. Let's see if I can get something good lined up. Like, I think I got a, yeah, I hit a couple there.
We're forgetting the dozer.
Victorian says his younger brother co-wrote a fantasy universe, and that's what the dwarves would say in what his brother wrote. Okay. Rock and steel.
Really hope my armor.
Yeah, the jellyfish are rough.
Fuel canisters are all dry as a bone.
Okay.
Refill them, and we will have this show on the road again soon.
I think Ando's got those.
The dozer. Follow me, Steve.
I'll get the oil shale. We can do the we can grab some gold after we get the Amaran Heartstone, Ando, right? So like
Little thotty.
once we have the Heartstone, we won't press the button to call the pod yet.
That ain't oil shale.
We'll just go and grab some gold. What's this?
Zip line up.
Pontic says he's currently playing Skyrim. He used to like it in the past, but now it's unbearable. Now, why is it unbearable? I've definitely played some Skyrim. You know, when Skyrim first came out, I'm like, meh. And I didn't really play it, didn't buy it. It was only years later that I got Skyrim and ended up playing like a lot of it.
Got the last canister. Get a move on. Oi, protect the dozer.
Wow, look at all these
Protect
things.
the drill dozer. It's being attacked by wildlife.
Whoop. Oh, that didn't do quite as much as I thought it would.
All right. We have to fix it.
So Eric says he wonders if Deep Rock Galactic inspired the return of squats to Warhammer 40,000. I don't know. I don't know what squats are. Hello, bug. Oh, it went all... Oh, ooh, barely almost went all the way down this thing. Okay, throw this here. Boo, do that. I'll shoot some of this so it doesn't get shot later. Ando's got this. I don't have to do anything. I'll just fill up on this so we can get moving. Although, there's a lot of jellyfish here. Just poke them with the pickaxe. We do need nitra, though. And hopefully we get it filled up on this little go here. All right, perfect.
Topped off.
Second Hat says Skyrim was always a worse Oblivion, and Oblivion was a worse Morrowind.
Find the nitra for ammo.
The games before that was too ancient
Canisters fuel.
for even
Drill is ready
me
make
to
more
complete.
progress.
You got the Nitra? Yeah, get that Nitra. Otherwise, I'm just gonna start it up.
Here we go. Drill dozer setting off for the Amaran Heartstone.
Yeah, I mean, there is a lot of the feminism, multiculturalism nonsense in the Skyrim stuff, and like, oh, Skyrim's for the Nords versus, you know, the Nords are mean to the Dark Elves, blah, 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 this and sort of that. That being said, one of the sort of white-pilling things is, like, how many sort of Skyrim fans, how many sort of Elder Scrolls fans, from all of that sort of multicultural nonsense and this and that, how many of them, like, will say out loud, like, hey, Skyrim's for the Nords, and they, like, believe it to some degree. Like, you've definitely seen that online, right? Like, just gamers being like, yo, Skyrim is for the Nords, by the way. So that's, but there is, like, a lot of that kind of stuff that they're pushing in the game, and it's only gonna get worse, naturally.
It's past your expiration date.
I think that's a new line. It's past your expiration date. They did add new lines to the game. Oh, use some nitro. Here we go. If we get enough for one resupply, that should be plenty. That'll be a full reload for both of us. Uh-oh. One of these things. Which I failed to accomplish the last time we did this. Alright. I'm not sure if we'll do that. Johnny 5K says, does Skyrim belong to the Nords? Well, you know, they want to... Some of the message they push is like, well, you know, Skyrim's home to the Nords. But actually, there was people even before the Nords, you know? And I don't think in the Elder Scrolls universe, like, there's no video game that actually has their own homeland in it, really. Like, the where the Nords come from originally. So it's just sort of this thing like, well, you know, they're not like everywhere on the map you see and everywhere you get access to. It's like, yes, they've made it their home for X number of generations, but it's not really theirs, right? I think that's kind of the idea they're going with.
Down the hatch.
So we do want some nitra, if we can get some nitra. So look around. We only need a small handful. There's a thing I'll grab, although it's not nitra. So the second hat says the next. Uh-oh. I hear Ando getting killed by a thing. You ran away. Got leeched. Now you're begging for help. But, second hat says, the next Elder Scrolls will supposedly take place in Hammerfell, which is where, you know, black people are from in the game. It'll be interesting to see if it's diverse. Second hat says, from his recollection, Nords were only 60% of Skyrim. I assume that they'll make it diverse. You know, I remember, like, you have... There was a stream between Krogan and he had brought some people on. He brought, like, you know, Mark Collette and some other people,
Molly.
some British people, to look at that one game, the Watch Dogs one from the UK. And one of the things they talked about is the idea that, like, a lot of times this is designed by committee. You know, there's a board of people, you know, they're going to look at stuff like the makeup of a town, and they'll be like, well, this town's not diverse enough. And, you know, someone will say, well, the idea is that this is the black town, this is kind of where they're from, and then there's like some overarching like commandments, design constraints about like, oh no, every place has to be X diverse, right? The only places that don't necessarily have to be diverse are the like the HQ of the bad guy, right? The bad guys don't necessarily have to be diverse, although they are sometimes willing to make them diverse. All right. Nero says Red Guard lives matter. Oh. Pontic says the original inhabitants of Skyrim were the snow elves. Right. So you had those elves that turn, yeah. Who are the dwarves, right? They're the dwarves. Or something.
The drill dozer has broken through the outer shell. So far, so good.
Let's clear them out.
But I mean, like, you have they're not the first human inhabitants, is the point. You have the first human inhabitants. Those are like the Forsaken or Forsworn or whatever. Forsworn up there. I don't think there's I don't think that tribe exists in Skyrim, per se. I don't know. I don't know if the tribe existed in the Elder Scrolls.
We gotta protect the Reda! Damn it! Ready.
But yeah, I mean, Skyrim, it's fun, ultimately. I've played some, I've enjoyed it. Probably played too much.
The drill dozer is at the halfway point. Keep it running.
Okay, so Victorian says they came from Atmora on the far north. So that you're talking about the Nords? The Nords come from Atmora. The previous inhabitants were exterminated by Ysgramor. It's somewhat embarrassing, I remember that. Yeah, so it's like the Nords are actually just invaders, and it's not really their homeland. Their homeland just doesn't exist on the map. Like, I don't think in any Elder Scrolls game you can go to Atmora or whatever. So on some level, it's like what you see in real life, right? Now this is just a Quora or Yahoo Answers thread, right? But someone asked, you know, who are the natives to New Zealand or something, and then someone said like, oh, it's the Maori, they've been there since around this century. And then someone in some other Quora or Yahoo Answers, someone asked, who are the natives of Iceland? And the answer was no one. It wasn't inhabited until this century. And of course, Iceland's been inhabited for longer than New Zealand, right? So if the Maori can be considered native to New Zealand, then definitely the Icelanders could be native to Iceland. Well, their claim is like even greater. They have a larger claim to nativity in Iceland than the Maori do to New Zealand. But like that's what we see a lot in our society, the sort of suggestion that only non-whites can be a native to a place, right? There's no place that whites are really native to. This is why you see like you know, in the UK they've got Patriot or whatever. Oh god, it's Mark Collette's organization. they celebrate, you know, Indigenous Peoples Day or something. Like, there's International Indigenous Peoples Day, right? And that was created basically with the intention of celebrating the native homelands of anyone who's not white and excluding whites. But then you have the guys in the UK saying like, no, that's got you have to include us because you made it Indigenous Peoples Day. We're Indigenous. Like, it's our day. It's our day to celebrate. And I'm a fan of this, right? You can't just be like, you can't accuse whites of being from nowhere.
The drill does a
okay.
Purpose. The heartstone is ours.
So,
Deposit it and wrap up
let's
the
go grab
mission.
some gold, and then we'll be done. Did you want, yeah, go ahead and grab that.
Mule, and we will send in the drop pod.
Grab that, I probably won't use it. Second Hat says, Skyrim's guild quests were embarrassingly bad. Now, Oblivion's Dark Brotherhood quest was the benchmark for faction-related quest lines. We could try that, Router, if you want, but let's get the gold first. I will say that if there's anything I'd ever like to do video-wise with Skyrim, I think I could make a fun, interesting video essay on the Dark Brotherhood questline of Skyrim. Because in my mind, the Dark Brotherhood questline of Skyrim is the victory of traditionalism and God over self-interest and sort of anti-traditionalism, right? Like, that's what happens in the Dark Brotherhood quest in Skyrim. Like, in the end, tradition and God wins. Now, obviously, it's an evil god, right? And the traditions include bad things like, you know, killing people. But it is utilizing that sort of dark setting, the victory of God and tradition. So I don't know if you guys have interpreted it the same way, but that was very clear to me when I played through the Dark Brotherhood in Skyrim. I think I hear bugs coming out. Yeah, there's one.
Like these things were bad enough alive.
Okay, I gotta make sure I don't want to... Oh, that's what I don't want to do. Can I grab that?
Ready to go for a cold brew right now. Donkey time. Whack-a-mole. Shield charge and
No, just so we want to put Molly down here in the center, and we want to knock as much gold down into the center as possible. That's the quickest way we can do this.
I can't carry anymore.
Pontic says the origins of Skyrim is subversive in nature. I mean, there's some of that, but I mean, it's not like, I don't know. I just don't want us to be in a position where, like, yeah, like, I'm fine with critiquing the heck out of media, but I don't want the right and my sort of people to end up in this situation where, like, someone's like, really enjoyed Skyrim. I mean, there's all sorts of things to do with sneaking around and, you know, pickpocketing poisoned apples or something. And then you're like, I don't want to see us sort of, like, poo-poo those people in a way that, like, burns a bridge, right? Like, those people may have had fun because there were fun things to do. I'd like to speak to them about some of the harmful ideas presented in games like that, but like, yeah, not just crap on them for having fun with a generally otherwise fun game. Patriotic Alternatives, Mark Collette's organization. Yeah, thank you, Pontic. Second Hat says, leftists are afraid of giving native status to whites because it grants a blood and soil argument. Yeah, I mean, and I think that's something we can argue, right? I think that's something that, like, people can recognize as the case. Like, a lot of white people who aren't on our side, who are just vagues, right? They haven't thought about a lot of these issues. They don't look at a lot of this stuff. They don't really notice any of this stuff. You can just point out the fact that, like, hey, you know, these people are suggesting that, like, being recognized as a native group is part of, like, basic human rights, and having an indigenous understanding of an indigenous people is, like, part of, like, just basic human rights, and it's being denied to white people. And then they can maybe start to see that. There's a lot of sort of vague people. While they're vague and they're not paying attention, they're not bad, right?
Damn flares could need an upgrade. Need some free space. I need to deposit
Oh my gosh.
in the mule.
Gotten a lot of gold out of the wall so far.
Time to deposit.
Look at all that. And I can go around and grab this little rim of it.
I can't carry anymore.
Pontic says the traitor dies at the end. Yeah, for the Dark Brotherhood quest line.
I'm full. Where's Smalley?
Okay, I'm gonna jump down here. Look at that.
My bag is
I'll come over to this side of the rim. Ugh.
donkey time.
And I'll probably have to drop down.
Time for deposit.
All right. Start loading this puppy up.
We'll have to make a deposit.
So we started with like 100 gold, somewhere around there. Now we're up to 300.
Time to find Molly. You carry a load well, Molly.
400.
I'm totally loaded.
450. Almost 500.
I'm full. Heading to the mule. You want
TBI.
something done
Oh,
right?
jellyfish.
Got it. Do it.
But I feel like,
Pay your master.
I don't know if it would be worth my time doing, but I feel like if I were to have really good production value, right, like American Krogan level production value, I feel like a video essay about Skyrim's Dark Brotherhood quest lines from my sort of traditionalist perspective, I feel like that would be a potentially popular thing, potentially influential thing, like something that could get a lot of views.
Need to get my bike
Look
out.
at that, almost 800 gold.
Back in the day.
Gotta
Keeping up
get
the
through here.
tradition.
Grab some of this. There's a bunch fell down to the ground. Pontic says the most subversive games are the most subtle ones. Well, exactly. I mean, like, if you say some anti-white
So long,
stuff,
suckers.
your average vague who doesn't really notice this kind of stuff, doesn't really care about it, doesn't really think about it, they're still not gonna want, like, really, really overt, just, you know, pig-headed hatred and desire to harm whites, right? They don't want that. They would be repulsed by that. But if the game's fun and just sort of hints at the idea that everyone has it harder than whites, and just hints at the like, think of what's that one game, Stick of Truth or something, where they put skin color as your difficulty meter, right? Darker people just had a harder life. That's the suggestion, even though a lot of those people might have, you know, government programs that assist them. Like, they're the ones who have it hard, even though... Okay. But anyway. Like, if you make a fun game without much overt messaging, but just subtle hints that, whites are bad. You know, everyone else has it harder. Whites are privileged and conceited and uncaring and unkind and all this. But never, like... Never, like, calling for the blood of whites to be spilled or any nonsense like that. You're just sort of vaguely suggesting sort of, like, plausibly true but negative things about white people, right? Those things are going to be the ones that people take the least critically, right? And if you start talking about it, if you say, like, well, these are really harmful, these are... suggesting all sorts of terrible things. At the end of the day, they still didn't call for blood, right? They just made these small, constant, insistent suggestions that maybe white people are bad. Johnny 5K says they say this, the Sami, that's the, like, up there in Finland, are the only indigenous people within the European Union area. Yeah, that's very interesting that no one else can be indigenous other than them.
Ass over here and hurry, please.
Oh man, I don't know about this one. I mean, we can try it, but it's gonna be rough.
Here I come.
Because these antennas are in super obnoxious places. Okay. Well, if I stay up here with a bunch of these antennas.
Zip line done.
Okay. Well. Johnny 5K says RDR2 is one game that normies probably view as a game without propaganda, but it's filled with it. Oh, Red Dead Redemption 2. Yeah. Some argue Todd Howard is secretly based. No, no, he's definitely not. Mr. A, how's it going? Pontic says Todd Howard is as woke as they get. I don't know if he's as woke as they get, but he's certainly not good. Well, Ando, go ahead and start it. Mr. A says, The Elder Scrolls 6 will be very based. I don't know about that. Nero says, the indigenous peoples of the Americas moved all over the place and conquered each other. By that logic, they wouldn't be native either. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, if they applied to whites, if they applied that to everyone else, obviously no one would is indigenous. If they treated us the same way that they treat everyone else, then we'd at least get to be indigenous part of the time, right? Okay, so that's the most obnoxious node. So neither of us are going to be able to get that. Oh my god, another detonator? A detonator during our little hack thing that we don't even know how to do? Okay. So that's going to blow up right on the antenna. Okay, I'm going to ignore that antenna for now. So it's going to switch antennas in a second. Okay, I guess it's downstairs with Ando. Damn, look at that. Got 2 of them. What?
Quickly, let's hack the next
Oh, I
antenna.
didn't even realize there was an antenna up there. Dude, these antenna, like, we need a scout for this, obviously. Like, we need a scout to be able to shoot around to these antennas in the ceiling and stuff.
Destroy. Bring the pipe.
How we doing over here? Okay,
Focus.
here we go.
Focus.
I'll try it.
Find the active node. Easy does it.
And then, oh. No, come on. That was really close. And boom. Oh. I got one. And the next one's next to me, too.
Disabling antenna node. Cool as a cucumber.
And boink. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Are you serious? What is happening?
Damn it.
Well, that sucks.
Next node. Shredder. Shred it. I'm on
And
it.
try this one.
I'm getting good at this.
Are you serious?
Let's pretend that never happened.
So
Drones down.
I'm understanding how this works more now. I don't like the game how it works, but I do understand it more. Oh, that's where this antenna is? I don't know if I have time to do it.
I'm on this
No,
one.
I don't.
Whoops.
Okay, let me just leave that one for now. It's gonna switch in a second, and it's gonna be right over here.
Next antenna node.
Okay, he's got it. Ando's gonna do it. Okay.
Antenna node. Yeah.
I hear a little guy, but... Oh, we got it.
Great job. You stopped the router from blowing up. Do remember to grab the data cell before leaving.
Good job, Ando. Here it is.
Hope I'm not getting sick touching this.
Data cell deposited.
All right, let's get the heck out of here.
Pleased. Sending in the drop pod. Starting the
Okay,
countdown.
it's this way.
This is it, team. Do us proud.
Mr. A says, imagine they make a crypto-based The Elder Scroll. It would be woke, but the simplest mod
Drop pod on
flips the
right.
narrative
Retrieving the mule.
entirely. Yeah, but most people don't install
Drop
any
pod
mods,
departing in
right?
T-minus 5 minutes.
You still have all this, like, giant propaganda machine that we're not happy about being so effective, ultimately. Don't... So, you're not doing any damage to it, Ando, when you shoot it in the face. Well, you do a slight amount with that, rocket launcher. But it's mostly a waste of ammo.
Get to cover. Hold it down. Now kill the rest of them.
Just whipping 5 grenades out.
The grenade. That's down.
Whoa!
Multi. Maybe. I want shield.
Pontic says, the whole indigenous argument is a way of undermining our European identity. Yeah.
Shield placed. It's me.
Drop pod departing in T-minus 4 minutes.
Nero says, I know someone by the name of Pod Toward gives thousands of dollars to Patriotic Alternative, but I'm pretty sure that's Todd with a mustache. I doubt it.
The mule has docked. Initiating launch sequence.
Moroccan go.
Good work.
Pontic says Krogan video about it is great. Oh, Red Dead Redemption 2? Yeah. Did you all see his newest video too? That was a long one. And I mean that in terms of like the amount of effort and months he put into making it, but also like it's a long video. I know that when it comes to Krogan's latest video, he's looking to potentially cut it down into smaller sections. A little bit more watchable. The idea is he's got this 2-hour video, right? Or whatever it is. Incredibly long video. It's a feature-length film. And there's some things in it that a lot of British people should know. but some of them might not be interested in sitting down to such a long video. I mean, these people are working jobs. They might not be interested in some of these other things he's talking about. So the idea is to, I think Krogan's going to push to maybe release a shortened thing that just talks about some of the things they need to be aware of. Like, when the media is telling the British people that they're evil and that the 1919 or so race riots are proof of how terrible white people are. I mean, those people deserve to hear a little bit of truth about the matter, and have Krogan dissect how some of these academics have used a lot of motivated reasoning to come to certain anti-white conclusions against the British people. Oh, we're not playing that. So Ando's got Mactera Plague Volatile Guts Elimination with 3 dreadnoughts, not 2, 3. We're gonna do mine instead.
Drop pod is ready. Time to leave.
Lloyd, oh boy, a Slayer stout blaze.
Pontic says Fire Emblem 3 houses some interesting message. It's a Switch game. I don't know. Eric says American Krogan, is he on other platforms besides BitChute? Odyssey. Right, he's on Odyssey. I think that's where most of his views are coming from now, is Odyssey. And BitChute is... I mean, it's sad what happened to BitChute. It's kind of trash now. Okay. I'm going in.
Move it, guys! We're going planet.
Drop sequence initiating. Fasten your seatbelts.
Victorian says, on the other side of the Elder Scrolls world, there's a whole continent that's completely populated by monster races. Like Argonians and the cat people. Khajiit. Yeah. You see that frame drop? Getting a lot more frame drop at the beginning of these missions than before, but it's no big deal.
Remember, leave no one behind.
Nero says, I'd like to see shorter clips of Krogan's videos. His COD one, I mean the recent one, is great, but has a lot I'd like to share, but it's not very accessible to normies. Well, exactly, right? That's the deal. Nero says, Embargo always plays a yellow Argonian. There's some special about yellow for Argonians? Well, a lot of nuts here. Second Hat says, the mythology of the Elder Scrolls is interesting. The gods sacrifice themselves for creating. Each planet is a god that became a gear in existence. Devils are those that didn't. You mean like the Daedra? Or whatever?
Found some nitro.
Alright, go ahead and get that.
Pow!
So we've got a chest.
Watch out!
Look at that. He ran straight into that grunt and blew him up. Loot bug.
Loot it, baby! You want some more?
So you got the chest here. There's also a hole in the wall. I think I hear some
Zipline done.
batteries. Oh, what's that? Get out of here, spitter. Woo! Those acid spitters. And look at this.
Killer be killed. We're rich.
We are rich. I just threw it down to the thing. Oh my gosh, look at all this nitro.
Worthless, but fun to destroy.
So much nitra in this one. Dropping all sorts of nitra down to the floor. Oh my god. There's the hacking thing again. Oh, it's my color. You say, yeah. The yellow snake. Well, I wasn't sure what you meant. I don't know if they have my yellow. You know, the yellow I use is very my particular yellow. But Pierce says Krogan isn't for normies, he's master class only. Well, I mean, he had a bunch of really popular videos on YouTube. So, I mean, that being said, like, obviously his recent stuff hasn't been nearly as normie friendly, so to speak. Because it's been so academic. Harrison says, is this lobby open? It should be open if you're on my friends list. Okay. Throw my thing down here. And... alright. We only got 2 mini mules to put together here. He's getting a leg there.
Die, worthless crystal.
Victorian says yellow is an evil color. Just read the kings in yellow. Well, remember, mine is like a yellow gold, ultimately. Johnny 5K says he can only find re-uploads of the video. On Odyssey, you mean?
Mule is functional again. Great work.
A lot of stuff here. Nice. I'm interested to see what the overclocks are for this gun. Because obviously right now it's unmodified. My secondary. Johnny 5K says re-uploads are in YouTube. Yeah, you mean Krogan's? Second Hand says Krogan was a YouTuber once? Yeah.
Well done.
I mean, he had
Mule is working again.
like, I don't know, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of subs. I mean, he had millions of views.
What's this?
All right. Well. Ooh. I guess we don't probably need this nitro, but I will grab it real quick. Okay, and then we need one more battery pack, and that's it. Where do you think it is? Really? Gotta be up there somewhere. Gotta be up. Let me listen. I don't hear anything. Is that it? What's up there?
I just put up a zip line.
That can't be it, is it? What's glowing up here? What is this? Oh! There it is!
Get out the way.
There we go. All right. Cargo crate.
Okay, come here.
Nice. Pontic says, I was listening to Academic Agent and Daughter of Albion's anti-weeb stream. They made good points about the degenerate sexual stuff of some Japanese entertainment. I haven't watched them. I'm not super interested. Yeah, I don't feel like there's a lot of interesting intellectual content in that conversation. Did we ever get the thing down there? Hey! There's loot bugs eating all my minerals that I knocked down. Look at them all. Uh-oh. Oh. Look at these. The loot bug train.
Loot bug eliminated.
Jeez.
Rock and stone, yeah!
Get rid of those things.
We're rich.
There's the compressed gold.
We're rich.
It's I threw it down here.
We're rich.
25K says he found Krogan's BitChute channel. Yeah, and he's mostly on Odyssey, so that's where I'd check him out first. Whoa!
Gas spot is leaking.
Acid spinners. Well, Ando, you ready to try this nonsense? Let me see here. Let me take a look. I gotta get to my thing. I accepted your invite there, Harrison. Okay. Well, go ahead and start it, I guess. Here we go.
We're reading a huge energy spike on our sensors. Deactivate the
I'm gonna be kind of up here looking for these ones if they go. Aha. This it? No? Oh, it's... Look at that! What an obnoxious spot! This is... You definitely want to scout for this. I'll tell you that much. This sort of transmitter nonsense. Like, it's gonna be that one next. Oh. Next to Ando.
Let's pretend that's a cucumber. For those about to rock and stone, we salute you. Ooh. Tick tock, tick tock. Where's the next damn
Okay,
road?
let me see if I can grab this one on this wall. Just underneath it. Boom, boom. Oh, that was quick. 1, 2. Up, up. What is this nonsense? Bro, I'm right next to it. Uh-oh. I don't think I can make it to this one in time. Unless I'm, like, hyper fast?
We've got a new miner inbound.
No. No. Okay, this one. Oh my god. And there's that one. Whiff. Hit. 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 Okay. Well, I got one. This one's... Oh my god. Good luck with that one. It's already halfway over. I don't think you're getting it. We'll see. Maybe he can pull it out in the last couple seconds. No. Wasn't able to get it. Oh my god. It's up in the ceiling again. What an obnoxious nonsense. Pontic says embargo master hacker. Exactly. Whoop. Okay. Boom. Boom. Bing. Boom. Wapow. Got him.
Self-destruct sequence has been interrupted.
Look at that.
Left to do.
I see. I'm all right.
Data cell.
Like, I know you're just joking when you say master hacker, but I'm like I'm not terrible. I can do it.
Cell secured.
Now that I understand how it works.
Against our rivals.
Like, when I first did it, I wasn't clear what the heck you were supposed to be doing. Like, I found that the hacking the other drone things in the other mission type, I found that really intuitive, and this one I didn't find intuitive at all.
Give me some sugar.
Get out of here, Harrison. I see what you're highlighting.
The mules are heading back. Follow them and let's get that drop pod.
Hella hacking.
Remember, you can always deposit on the side of the drop pod.
Okay.
All mules secured. Now
Let's
get the pod working. First,
flop that.
establishing a proper connection between the pod and the space rig. Set up the uplink.
One sentry gun ready to
Secondary
Yeah, we should be
objective
good to go.
complete. Now finish the job. Hang in there. Supplies are on the way.
Time to restock.
Uplink ready. Triangulation initiated. Do not leave the triangulation zone, or we will lose.
Piers says, I think anime Panic from the Dissident Right is overweighted. Woke Hollywood cape movies are more degenerate. I mean, like, you just gonna rail on, like, lame stuff all day? Not you, but, like,
Triangulation at 50%.
I don't know. To me, listening to, so Academic Agent, Daughter of Albion, the critiques, I mean, how do I want to say this? They're old. They're old. I feel like they're old and they don't get it.
Triangulation at 75%.
No offense, but it's all very uninteresting. Ooh. Mr. A says, condemning the art form is not the way to stop degenerates from using the art form to pervert everyone and everything. Well, exactly.
Cells for the drop pod.
Johnny 5K is trying to find the video on DLive, on Odyssey. Well, let me just give you his channel, because it's just going to be in his list, right? Odyssey.
Fuel cells have arrived. Connect them to the drop pod with the charge
Go
cable.
to my channel, because I reposted his video on my channel, or whatever. Click on that. Click on this.
Fuel cells connected to drop pod. Prepare the fuel cells.
What are you looking
charge
for, then?
sequence.
What are you looking for on his channel? The Call of Duty one is the very first one at the very top.
platform created. Sentry gun needs assembly. Armed and ready.
Red Dead Redemption 2. Oh, I don't know.
I made a plan.
I assume he's got it on there. Maybe he hasn't put it on there.
Platform's placed.
Pontic says, obsession with foreign cultures and entertainment is harmful.
Platform up.
Fuel cells charging.
Well, I mean, I feel like
Keep them operational. We're expecting an increase in hostiles.
for... Oh, gosh. For a lot of people, they look... They are raised to suggest that, like, exposure to foreign cultures and foreign peoples makes you better. Being able to appreciate some of the things that foreign people have or do is, like,
Well, think again.
sound like a nuance that more intelligent people get, so it's like part of intelligence signaling. That's the idea, like, that's expressed in our culture. Obviously, you know, we've gone pathological with all that, right? Like, there is potentially, like, this situation where having young people who can appreciate some of the nice parts of other cultures and be willing to adopt those is like a strengthening thing for your own people, right? But then there's, like, the ideation of someone else's culture and, like, believing it's perfect, or, you know, believing they're perfect, and, like, they're so much better than you that they should come and replace you in your own country. Like, like, there's the pathological side of that. That's obviously being expressed to an extreme degree, right? If some white character in a film needs some sort of like spiritual and important guidance about like the underlying nature of reality and love, like they're gonna have to turn to some sort of non-white person in the movie, like who's got like all this wisdom, like the super wise black woman or whatever, right? Who's gonna like educate our young naive white person in the ways of the world. I mean, you saw that with well, I mean, there's a reason like Neo in the Matrix is guided by not only Morpheus but like the Oracle, right? Morpheus being a black man, the Oracle being a black woman. A bunch of 9 white kids around the Oracle, sort of expanding their minds, taking control of the Matrix. Blah blah blah. Whoop.
Calculating orbital trajectory.
JK says women he'd date used to tell him that he was closed-minded because they didn't care about other cultures. Well, the thing is, like, a lot of these... Most people who are, like, again, it's like part of mainstream social signaling that you're supposed to care about other cultures. So they're mostly conforming to that sort of notion, right? They're saying like, well, you're supposed to care about other cultures. I'm gonna care about other cultures. That's part of what you're supposed to do. Most of these people don't have very good insights into actual other cultures, right? They'll be like, oh, you could say like, oh, so do you appreciate West African culture? You'd be like, yeah, sure. And you're like, what can you tell me about West African culture? What can you tell me about the Yoruba religion? And foundational ideas to their society and culture. And they can't tell you anything, right? Well, let me take a look. I gotta... Oh my gosh. Stone Toss Gaming? What is this? Oh. Stone Toss Gaming. Funny. Huh. Let's see here. Profile. Okay, that's my Steam. So you can add me, and then my games are open to people on the friends list, right? So, let's get one of these assignments going. Promotion. Shard diffuser. We'll do that. And I'm going driller.
Let me handle the digging.
Pontic says current Western culture isn't Western one bit. Well, especially not the pop culture, right? Piers says I loved many foreign movies. I used to watched a lot of French and Japanese movies, not so much anime. Pontic says embrace your people's culture and reject foreign cultures. I mean, I feel like what do I say to that? There's like there's ways to interact with other people's cultures in a way that's healthy, and there's ways that's like bad. And one of the things I'd like to talk about is you ever look at Tacitus or Tacitus talking about Germania, right? So like you have this Roman historian guy writing about Germania, writing about the peoples of Northern Europe, right? And he's saying things about them. Some of those things might be true, some of those things aren't true, right? Or might not be true. One of the things that various historians have said about him is that he's using the people of Germania as a foil and as an example for what he wants Romans to do and what he wants Romans to be like. So, like, you have this Roman sort of talking up and praising this sort of foreign group, saying that they're really great in some ways, right? In part because he's just trying to inspire his own group, like saying like, well, they can be this great, so we could be that great too. They do all these good things, so we could do those good things too. There's nothing stopping us from achieving those sorts of things, right? And that's something you see a lot in Europeans throughout history, especially today. The myth of the noble savage, right? One of the interesting things is, like, you look at stories about the Indians, right? Talking about, well, they lived in harmony with nature and all this stuff. And it seems fairly clear to me that when you talk to the white people who really believe that Indians lived in complete harmony with nature, and then you go talk to the Indians that they're talking about, the person who desires harmony with nature is the white person, right? Like, they're projecting their own desire for harmony with nature on some outside group. They're saying, like, oh, they're basically saying all the things they want is what the Indians were able to achieve, and that's why we should, like, idolize them, and that's why we should try and be like them. But in reality, what they want us to be like is, they want us to be like a sort of fake Indian, right? Because that's not how the Indians were. A lot of white people really like harmony with nature. Like, if you go to the national forests, it's full of white people. Let me see if I can bring up some articles. Okay, you ready for this here? I'm gonna have to bring it up in a new window. National Forest. So, let me see here. Properties. Yeah, this is the U.S. Forest Service. Recreating in color, promoting ethnic diversity in public lands. Oh, it's not showing up. There we go. Many American people of color. The answer is obvious. It's unclear to many Americans of European descent. Racial and ethnic minorities in the United States are not likely to recreate or work in the country's national lands, as are people who are part of this country's racial white population, right? So, non-whites not as likely to work in the Forest Service, to work in the national parks, to go there for recreation. That's very common. That's actually one of the things, and they talk about this. It's like, blacks are 13% of the population, 1% of national forest visits. Like, they're not going there. Hispanics, 17%, less than 6% of the national forests. Non-Hispanic whites, 63% of the U.S. population, over 90% of national forest visits, right? Like, when you look at hunting and recreation and, river rafting, you know, it's these white people who are really getting out there. If you find, like, you know, if you have a population of people who likes the outdoors and who likes the idea of harmony from nature, on the extreme, you'll end up with, like, the tree huggers, like, who are actually hugging trees. Like, oh,
Launch
you know,
control reports
Mr. Forrest, you're so wonderful. I just hug you. I want to be here all the time. You end up with a couple weirdos who are really into it. And those are always white people, right? And people joke about that. They'll be like, you know, the white hippie who's like, you know, hugging trees. You know, oh, Mr. Tree, I'm sorry they did this to you. Boo, 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 boo. Right? That's... If you have a population of people who likes the outdoors and likes the idea of harmony with nature, you'll always end up with a few of those goofballs, right? That's the idea. And I forget how I get on that. Oh, yeah. But Nero says Arcadia, harmony with nature. That's part of the reason why all those Life is Strange and Tell Me Why games are in Arcadia, and they're in Alaska. They're in, like, rural carnivorous forests to a large degree. Carnivorous and some deciduous forests, right? Trees, you know, all that.
Fair warning, any vandalizing or destruction of company property will be deducted from your pay at the end of the month.
Piers says, what percentage of Antifa enjoys the great outdoors? I'd say there's a lot of white Antifa who probably like a surprising, like a higher than the average population who like do hug trees and stuff, right? Because Antifa would be a lot of those people who I talked about. Like, they like the outdoors and they like the idea of harmony with nature. So they take that sort of narrative and they project it onto non-white groups. And they say, oh my gosh, I bet all these non-white groups just lived in harmony with nature and didn't pollute or anything until the white man came and did that to them, right? I mean, it's obviously nonsense, but, like, you can understand, like, that's a lot of their perspective. That, like... Alright, let's take a look at this. Rival presence. Alright, let's go to this one. Did I get, you do a beer? We'll do a beer for this one.
It breaks my heart to tell you this, but no, the barrel will not accompany you on your next mission.
Someone put a barrel in the drop pod.
Carl would approve of this.
Come on,
there it is.
boys. We're leaving.
Drop sequence initiating. Fasten your seatbelts.
Yeah.
Mr. A says a lot of them should be on our side, though. They're just brainwashed. Exactly. You know, it's like, do I like white Antifa? You know, I'm very frustrated with them, right? Like, they believe a lot of lies. Some of them are pretty mentally unstable. There's some, like, otherwise good people in there. Like, if this was a healthier time, they would believe healthier things and they would act in a healthier manner. Right?
Stand a better chance of survival if you stop your griping.
Let's get the job done and get back in a hurry.
Oh. Ando just shoots it within the first couple seconds. Oh my gosh. Well. Uh-oh. 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 I barely lived. Jeez. This is a heck of a start to this one. Well. So, Pontic says Antifa are spiteful mutants. I definitely think that's true for some of them. Like, that's obviously true for, like, a lot of the, sort of, you know, dyed hair, misshapen face, Antifa mugshots you see, right? That's definitely true. But for, like, there's, like, high school girls in Portland who are being propagandized with Antifa nonsense right now, right? And they're not all, like, misshapen face, spiteful mutants, right? Whoa! Well. Whoops.
This never gets old.
I tell you, this is some crazy stuff. I blame Ando for all of it.
Let it rain. Get him in your beard.
Bam. Got it.
Lighting up!
Here.
Nice shield.
When the
Not to be
start
mean.
to feel like
Sorry.
family, you know it's time to quit.
These bugs don't stand a chance against us.
Piers says they need to cut off their dreadlocks and have a shower first. Talking about Antifa? Or the hippies?
Shield recharged.
Well, that's the second stage. So if you can't tell, we're fighting this goofy boss. So he's invincible right now. We're gonna have this wave of stuff coming at us. Ando's out front, so a lot of it's on him. Get out of here, you. Okay, now we're in the last stage of the boss. Once the boss is in range. There we go.
Destroy him with. Let's grab it, stay patrol with explosive.
Damn robot! This is our turf!
And I'm gonna...
Deep rock, seriously.
Brace, brace.
Oh.
Swarm detected.
I got a swarm coming with this egg too now.
Takes years
Okay.
of practice to get this good, lad.
Oh, we do have Nitra.
Make every bullet count. There's up.
Can we get a zip line down, please?
Heat with you.
Let's get a zip line down there, and then I can call a resupply down there.
Combat positions. The swarm is here.
Go patrol it.
I'm straight with you, you goblin bastard.
Nero says, who are worse, dreadlocked hippies or goths? Well, ultimately, I'm not, like, super upset with either group unless they're, like, specifically like, affiliated with anti-white nonsense, right? Bam. Look at that. Piers Taylor says, I was fascinated by the transformation of Moldy Locks from lovely young women who did archery with her dad to degenerate Antifa dreadlocks disaster. Cases like that are tragic, says Pontic. Well, exactly. I mean, imagine being the father.
Hang in there. The wave is almost dealt with. Dispatch whatever's left.
You're a stain on the floor.
All right, give us a thing. Give us a zip line down, please.
Down the hatch. Light is up.
Why just here we go. Zip.
Here we go.
Resupply order.
Wow, look at all these turrets.
Positioned.
Whoops,
Launching now.
got rid of that one. Oh, boom.
Questions around.
And oh,
Eat it.
this is caught on the red sugar is blocking the thing. That's good to know.
Everybody collect ammunition.
And look at this. An air cube.
Let there be light.
This looks weird.
What is
I got the deposit.
I got a Jadis in here too.
What the heck is this? I wonder if it's edible. Strange
Destroy the spitball.
Pontic says, aren't hippie and goth cultures normie, therefore anti-white? I'd say normie is vague, right? Like another word for normie is just a vague. Someone who doesn't know what's going on. Like, not someone who's explicitly taken an anti-white position. They may have, you know, they've fallen victim to some anti-white memes, most assuredly. Most vagues have, right? But they're not, like, out there crusading against the evils of the white man, right? Explicitly. They end up believing some of that stuff, but they're not, like, that's not their mission in life. See if I can get up through here. Woo! The Big Chungus is joining now. Okay, I think there's one right there. Yeah. Oh. Crap in the way. Ando. Ando, what are you dying for?
Hands up, new miner arriving.
Don't do that. Jeez. Wow, a lot of shredders here.
Going for some action. Annoying little buggers.
Damn. Okay. We're good. We're good. Ooh. There's that. And then this. If I can... Whoop. Probably gonna get a swarm here in a second. Let's grab a resupply. About out of stuff.
Ready to kill some more crates.
All right. No thing there, huh? You digging for that egg? Go for it. I'm just gonna make a beeline for this other egg. What if I... Yeah. Something like this. I'm just gonna go straight for this other egg, I think. Come back when I have it. And it's right over here.
Swarm detected. Light him up, miners.
And walk out here. Come on. Where the heck is it? Where's the exit? Oh. Well, maybe I won't go out. Okay, I'm out.
Swarm, they're here.
Where the heck is it?
Explosives, boys.
Here we go. I'll grab this. Oh no. Oh, got him. Barely got him. I might see if I can try and get this super quick. Yoink. Out of my way, everybody. And... crap. Look at that. Oh, hello. Hooey. The perfect escape. Just like that. Where's the egg? Here's the egg. And I got the fossils we need and everything.
Completed. Well done. Pull the escape pod in when ready. Nicely done, team. You secured yourself a nice bonus.
Hit Molly with that one by
Wave's
accident.
almost over.
Will I be streaming during summer? Yeah, I should be. Okay. I'll call a resupply and the drop pod.
Drop pod en route. Hang in there.
Look at that. Perfect. Did we get everything? Didn't leave the air cube or anything, right? No, we got it.
The resupply is here. I'm taking some of the ammo. Oh yeah.
Look at that! That was pretty quick. I like to get these egg missions
Drop
over.
pod has arrived. The mule has been called back.
Mark! Move back!
Drop pod departing in T-minus 5 minutes.
Look over here!
Look at this. Perfect. Sort of. Nearly perfect.
Booyah!
Get out of here, Redder.
Destroy! You better hurry! It's over here!
Nice. Johnny 5K says, people who does ritual slaughters are welcome to animal rights groups, but at least they aren't racist.
Leave no
The mule is secure.
Who's dying?
Initiating launch sequence. Deep Rock Galactic.
Where the hell are you?
Good work. Drop pod will leave with or without you. Drop pod departing in T-minus 4 minutes.
He's gone.
Oh my gosh.
What's this?
Oh my goodness. Woo, that's a lot of
Loaded beggar.
grenades on me.
Hot shot. We're here to shoot the ones without.
I think we got this.
I know the way. This way.
Pontic says he'll be able to catch my Wednesday streams during the summer. Oh, that's good. Those are the ones where we get to play stuff that's a little bit more nasty. A little bit more politically motivated nonsense. Alright. Everybody into the drop pod. We're all here. Don't bother setting up that turret. All we gotta do is get in. Because it's over.
Departing in T-minus 3 minutes.
Alright.
Retrieving escape pod.
Yeah, the ritual slaughter thing. So part of what we're talking about there is halal and kosher slaughter. And I'd show you videos of that, but some of it's pretty brutal. Let me see what I can find on YouTube. What do they put for halal and kosher slaughter? Oh, sign in to confirm your age. Probably can't show much of this then.
Congratulations. Your excellent performance for Deep
Let me
Rock
take a look
Galactic
here.
hasn't gone unnoticed. Management are seriously considering you for promotion, but you'll have to complete one final assignment first.
Want to bring something up
Prove
here.
yourself, and a
Because this is an
promotion awaits
important thing, sort of culturally, racially, all this sort of stuff. Oh, God. Damn it. Okay, one second. We'll do this.
Hey, listen!
Piers, thank you for the lemon. Okay. So I can't show you much of this. Because this is actually age restricted on YouTube, right? So I will show you only the smallest things from this. We gotta go here, properties, and then bring up this. Okay, so they called this is halal, animal cruelty exposed, and they're showing, well, both kosher and halal. I believe the method that a animal has to be killed is by having the neck cut open. And there are some pretty brutal videos. And there are, like, automated ways to do this. So we see here. Yeah, so he's got the big knife there. And then you see him turned upside down. Like, there are religious requirements for turning things upside down or whatever. And, like, in these videos, you will be able to see animals breathing through their neck, right? The large hole, because the whole windpipe is completely severed for some of them. I thought you would think that they would just go for the jugular, right? And they would just pop the vein and then it would bleed out. But instead, they're actually cutting the whole windpipe in a lot of these videos. Some of this is halal, some of this is kosher. I know the video just says halal. But one of the things that animal rights activists, you know, have had trouble with is that in the past, they were telling white Christians to improve their slaughter methods, right? And we did a bunch of that. Let me bring this down real quick, and I'll bring up a different video. So we got, Temple Grandin, slaughter. Okay, so, whoa! So, Temple Grandin, very famous woman. She was known for, like, she's, right, so considered to be the world's leading expert on humane livestock handling in meatpacking plants. One of the world's most successful and one of the most successful and accomplished autistic people. I don't know if her autism really gives her a unique ability to understand how animals see the world, but it is, like, something she cared a lot about. Doctorate in animal behavior at the University of Illinois. I also see that someone is pushing a barrel into my room. So Temple Grandin was very influential into redoing how slaughterhouses worked. For example, including all this non-slip flooring so they don't get injured on the way in, having pens be less full. You've maybe seen cattle prods used in the past. Instead, you know, it turns out that, like, you don't have to use a cattle prod to get a cow to move. Cows don't want to be touched with basically anything, right? So here they are using a stick with an inflated garbage bag on it, right? So you can just raise it in the air and they'll tend to move around. Or if you have to, you can touch them with this big soft bag and they'll move. So you don't really need the cattle prod, which is sort of like a stun gun on a stick, right? So you have these high solid-sided walls. What these animals tend to do is they tend to follow each other, right? So the idea was to sort of create these sort of things where rather than the animals resisting moving into an area, you design the space so that animals will naturally want to move in this area, right? So they're removing distraction, so the cows aren't distracted by that. Right here, this is right before the slaughter sort of line. The cows followed each other into this space, and they find right before the line that they're in a pretty dark space, and that ahead is light. And cows naturally want to move from dark space to light spaces, right? So the cow naturally wants to come in through here. So that reduces the need for, like, some employee poking the animal or pushing him or using a cattle prod, that sort of stuff. And then this is a captive bolt gun. It's just a gun, but instead of a bullet, it's just a solid steel bolt. The idea is that you destroy the brain instantly, right? That's what we think of as, like, in the West, we think this is the most humane way to kill something, is to make that brain destroyed as quick as you can, right? That reduces the potential ability for pain and all that sort of stuff, and experiencing their own death.
Animals are to be left alone and not hurt,
Now,
kicked, tossed, or in any way moved
what
around.
we've had in the past, like to some degree, like the 80s and 90s, we had a moral challenge, right? You have these animal rights activists who are saying, like, listen, the way slaughter is working before this is immoral, and you should either give up meat or make it more humane. So what we chose to do is redesign the whole system to make it humane, right? We chose to, right, like, redo all this, like, get rid of a lot of the kettle prods, and instead have a guy with a inflated plastic bag on a stick, right? And to utilize animal psychology in a way where the process can work without being cruel to the animals, right? So you have these people issuing a moral challenge saying, hey, listen, you white people, you white Christians, you Western people, you Westmen. Can't you see that this is bad? Go ahead and stop eating meat or improve this. Now, a lot of these same sort of people who issued that challenge are having a moral dilemma now, right? Because you can't tell all of the kosher and halal slaughter people that they need to either give up meat or improve their systems, because you'll be labeled an anti-Semite, you'll be labeled an Islamophobe, you'll be called a racist. Like, and a lot of these people who are on sort of the more left and they care about animal rights also like deeply care about like not being called racist, right? Like that's a really big deal to them. And they're like, they gotta cower away from that. So I think this is part of the reason we're seeing a push towards like the idea of making meat illegal for everybody. Part of the reason we see this push towards like the plant-based diet and meat's not allowed for everyone is so that these people who don't like the halal and kosher slaughter don't actually have to directly target the halal and kosher slaughter, right? They don't have to say like, listen, you two groups need to do better. They just need... It's easier for them morally to say, you know what? Maybe it's time we just all be vegan, right? We're just going to all be vegan from now on. And you don't have to be labeled as an anti-Semite or as a Islamophobe or any of that sort of stuff, right? So, like, a lot of people in the West, if there was no, like, concerns about being called racist, they would have already banned halal and kosher slaughter. But, like, they're afraid of being called the bad word, so they can't do that. The hell's going on in here? They put all these barrels in my room! You think this is gonna stop me from getting out? I don't think so.
Stone, you
Rock
beautiful
and
dwarf.
stone! Rock and stone!
Alright. Well, what do we got here? We got mine. We got this one. We're not doing that, Ando. Sorry. And we have Harrison's. We can do Harrison's. Post this. I'm going engineer.
Warm up. Time to get to work, team.
All in a day's
We'll do a beer. I don't know. I probably want to go with the shoddy. Yeah. EGL? Deep core? Okay, no. This one. Okay. Eric says, oh, what's this? Red rock bread. Oh, okay, yeah, this is the right beer. Eric says this is more humane but kind of disturbing. That's why I gave up meat. I mean, I find it's pretty fine.
That's cute. You guys waiting for
If you don't rock and stone, you ain't coming home.
forever. If you're rockin' stone, you're never alone.
Johnny 5K says, just last week, EU sent some pro-ritual slaughter person to tell us we can't ban ritual slaughters because it would be anti-Semitic. Exactly, right? So, like, these animal rights activists have run into this rough situation because a lot of them are leftists who, like... And that's why they want... That's why the leftists are kind of stuck in this position that, like, okay, I guess we'll just have to ban meat altogether, right? Carbon says, have I unlocked any weapons yet? Yeah, I got just one, I believe. I got the, what's it called? The gunner secondary. The gunner secondary is that, little rail gun. So, the little pistol rail gun. And it's fun. It's a fun one. I don't have any overclocks for it, So I'm interested to see, once I do get some overclocks, you know, how that'll change the gun. I haven't read about it at all. I mean, I haven't read anything about it, so I haven't even bought all the upgrades for it. Like, I bought one of each of the tiers of upgrades, but not, like, every upgrade. I haven't tried every upgrade.
This one's for Carl.
Platform.
Oh my gosh. Oh, spiderweb. Gotta walk right through it. I'll walk through both of them. Take one for the team. Well, get the nitro.
Platform up.
Oh, nice shot there with your grenade.
Swallow this.
Oh, I only have the one. I'm not using my I'm not using my Gemini system. I'm using the Mark II. I thought I'd have two sentries.
What's that smell? All right. Try job down.
Destroy the spitballer.
All right.
Let there be history.
Victorian says he works with cattle every year, and he has a lot to say about this. All right, well, let's hear it. Let's hear your opinions on humane slaughter. What are you pointing out? Oh, you got the grenade. Compressed gold, rather, not grenade.
Hey, remind me never to turn my back on you again. We're rich. We're rich. We're rich. We're rich. We're rich. We're rich.
All right. Well.
One sentry gun ready to be built.
So, is anyone playing Pokemon Go yet? Have I convinced anyone to play that? Or am I still the only one?
We're rich.
I was playing a lot of, oh gosh, Pokemon Go
Loot bug down.
PvP. I'm into the Go Battle League. I'm very excited for next season. It's going to be a fully ranked ELO system that we'll have access to. So
That's it. This is fun.
I really want to do well next season. I want to hit Legend. That's the highest rank. Victorian says, my grandpa is still a cattle rancher. Oh, there you go.
Skull Crusher.
I know, Proganus occasionally talks about the fact that I think grandpa or whatever was a herdsman so long ago.
Lighting.
Look at that. Perfect.
Sentry's done. Go get him, boy.
Oh yeah. You gotta it's the rule in Deep Rock Galactic, you know, it's like once someone mines the compressed gold, everyone's gotta go up to it and yell that they're rich. It's just the way it is. Oh, that felt good.
Watch out! Hot plasma! Hold your fire, you addle-brain lump of lard!
25K says, our parliament has been red and green for about 4 years and they haven't banned it yet. You're talking about, like, halal and kosher slaughter?
Secondary objective completed.
Well, you remember when Iceland talked about banning mutilation of baby boys, right? They were talking about banning circumcision of babies. And the ADL sent a threatening letter that they said something to the effect of, we have a lot of media clout and we'll smear you as Nazis, right? That's what the ADL more or less said. And they said something to the effect of, your economy relies more on tourism than you might think. and once we've smeared you as Nazis, that'll put you at risk, right? That's what the ADL did to send a letter to Iceland about. That was, very bold. What's the, what's that word? Chutzpah? I mean, as far as I know, it's still not banned. So, yeah.
Ollie! No more room.
That was a big one.
Time for deposit.
Ando says MGM should be illegal. Well, exactly. I agree. FGM and MGM. I mean,
I love this.
no reason to mutilate babies.
Platform.
This is the West. You know, we're not in Africa. We're not. This isn't their space. Our babies shouldn't have to be mutilated.
Let's get them in. I made a platform. I was made for mining. Molly was meant for hauling what I mine.
Okay, let's grab this, throw this here,
Supply ordered.
and let's get ready. Cause let's go ahead and do this one. I think this will be the last mission, right? Be my last one. Then I gotta go do stuff.
Can do this in my one platform ready to use. One
Put this
sentry
here.
ready to be built. Armed.
I would Google that. Nero.
When I'm done working for
The mules
DRG,
are heading back. Follow them and let's
I'd
get that
search
drop pod.
ADL letter
You can always
Iceland
deposit on the side of the
circumcision.
drop pod.
This is exactly where I want it.
All mules are secured. Now to get the pod working.
Maybe
First,
this.
establishing a proper connection between the pod
Slightly
and the base rig.
different,
Set up the
but nearly the
operation.
same.
gun ready to be built. Sentry armed. Rocket stone. Rock and stone. The pretty sound of teamwork.
Uplink ready. Triangulation initiated.
Galaxy's
Not only
finest.
triangulation
They
zone,
did
but
definitely add a lot of new
connection.
voice lines
We
here.
only got one shot at this.
Rock and stone.
That's not one of them.
Think you could kill me? Well, think again. Plasma deployed.
Nice, nice. So this will be the last push. We gotta get this, and then they'll send down a fuel cell. Look at that. Nice.
We got a guard here. Eat it.
Triangulation at 75%. Almost there.
Farmers.
Don't die.
Pontic says, imagine caring more about the economy and not the health of your youth. That is evil. Right. Right. I mean, you know, and they would say, like, listen, it's complex. The economy also affects the health of the youth and all this and that. And, like, they're right. It is a complex, difficult issue. But I think once you parse out all parts of that complex, difficult issue, you do end up banning, right, the mutilation of your children.
No hiding from me,
Like,
bug.
yes, it's complex, but the ultimate result of the analysis still needs to be on behalf of your children.
Kill the menace.
Fuel cells have arrived. Get them connected to the drop pod.
I ordered a resupply.
Supply pod launched. Better stand back.
Ready to kill some more crates.
I also tried playing Pokemon Unite. You guys never played that one?
Get in, boy.
Just tried that just the other day. It's pretty good. Let's put the gun or the sentry right here.
Needs assembly.
Johnny 5K says, do they even care about the economics, even? They lend money by the millions to just send it away to others. Or billions. Well, I mean, certainly they do to some degree, right? They care about the economics. But something we've seen, I think, didn't Alt Hype have some sort of video about ideological capitalism or something, talking about this sort of stuff? Like, there are definitely organizations, companies, people who are willing to take an economic hit to, like, engage in some politically active nonsense. I mean, you gotta keep in mind with white people, right? White people are very concerned with overall morality. White people are very moral people. For example, if you wanted to run for president, you might go to different groups, like blacks and Hispanics, and tell them about what you can do for them, right? You can say, well, I'm going to get black people this. You know, Trump talked about his platinum plan, right? Getting them a certain amount of money and funding and this and that. And all sorts of people do that. They go to these different ethnic or racial groups to talk about what they're going to be able to give or get for that group. But you can't generally get elected by white people by telling them about all of the nice goodies you're going to give to them, right? White people don't want to hear about all the good stuff you'll give to them. Because they want to be convinced that you're not just good for them, but you're good, period, right? When you look at Twitter, you see all sorts of people, right and left, you'll hear the phrase that, like, or suggestions that you will be judged harshly by our descendants because you're on the wrong side of history, or you will be found to be on the wrong side in the future. Like, there's lots of threats about that. In Black Twitter, there's a lot of conversations about black conservatives telling black liberals that, like, you know, the Democrats aren't actually giving them the stuff that they think they're getting. Like the Democrats aren't making our lives better like you think they are, right? There's lots of arguments about what's better for black people. But, you know, white people on Twitter are mostly arguing about if the other person is just a good person and moral, and if you're doing the right thing by voting for them. Not much argument about, like, well, this person will be better for us as a racial group. Victorian says circumcision is so immoral, he'll never forgive his mother for doing that to him. Yeah, and I mean, it's something I think in the mainstream we should talk about more, right? In the mainstream we should be like, listen, mutilating baby boys is just bad. Your descendants will judge you harshly for it. If you support mutilating child's genitals, you are on the wrong side of history. We should be saying that sort of stuff, right? Good game. Thanks for coming, Harrison. Thanks for coming, Big Chungus. I know you only got to play one game with us, but appreciate it. And Ando. Victorian says, I propose a compromise. You should have to be 21 and give your consent for circumcision. Yeah, that seems good. Nero says, should the hyper-caring pathological altruism of whites be breeded out or controlled via education? It's killing us. Well, I think you gotta control it. I mean, you gotta keep in mind, like, our willingness to accept in the outgroup is part of what made America the success it is, right? So you have, like, in historical America, you have, like, the Anglos and the German immigrants and the French and these other white groups. And sort of accepting them as one of us and allowing them, you know, all the abilities that they wanted and this and that worked out pretty well because those groups largely, in the long run, didn't advocate for themselves over others, right? But once you start accepting groups who won't reciprocate that, then it turns disastrous, right? Uh-oh. Revive this guy.
Classy move, team. Now quit it.
Ando says it amazes me that so many people don't care about the whole circumcision thing. Well, let me. I'm gonna exit this. Let's look at one of the tweets that I gave, or one of the tweets. I talked about this on Twitter, and you know, there's a lot of people who had it done to them, and if you speak out against it, they're gonna get defensive. The suggestion is, on some level, that they think that you're judging their parents harshly. They think that, or if they've given their kids circumcision because they received it, like my parents did to me, I'm supposed to do it to my kids, that sort of thing. Like, they think that, like, you're really, you know, judging them harshly, and they're gonna really push back hard. And it's sort of like this thing. It's like you have this sort of, cycle of circumcision or scission. Let's click on this. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, here we go. Let's bring up okay, here we go. Properties. So I'm not bringing this up so you can, like, go bully this person or whatever, right? So, someone, Sam, I don't know if you follow her. She's a goofball. Would you circumcise your son? Men, yes. Men, no. Women, yes. Women, no. Good to see that no is outnumbering yes. And it's like, no for men is like just over 2 times as much than yes. And it's like you have just barely over 2 times. So it's like 2/3 of people are saying no. That's good to see. And I said, if a child can't even count on their own parents to oppose their body being mutilated, they're born into this world truly and utterly alone, right? Like, so, like, on some level, if someone comes by to snip you up, to cut you, to harm you, and no one intervenes, it's like you're alone, right? That's what I'm suggesting. And some people talked about different things, but this guy says, you know, it's a bit overboard, and I don't think I'm being overboard. He says, how's it overboard? And this person says, oh, it's dramatic. What, you know, he's fake quoting me, right? A poor soul to be born in this world with parents who don't love you from day one, right? So that's a defensive reaction on this guy, right? This guy is suggesting that, like, I'm saying that if someone comes to harm you as a baby and no one defends you, you are alone, at least at that moment, right? And he's trying to extend what I'm saying into, like, oh, well, yeah, I guess parents just don't love, you know, kids, this sort of thing. So he's, you know, he's defensive. And of course, when I say, I have this meme, downplaying the mutilation of children's genitals again, son. This is where we can see why he's defensive. apparently my parents never loved me, and I don't actually love my son. So we've got the cycle of circumcision. His parents did it to him, so he's going to do it to his kids. And now because I'm questioning whether this is good, I'm questioning foundationally his relationship to his parents. In his view, he's got to defend his parents. He's got to defend himself for what he's done to his son. Like, here I am suggesting that it was a bad thing that was done, and now he feels like I'm threatening the love of him for his own son and calling that into question. And this is a great image. Go ahead and post this at people, you know. When someone tells you about how great circumcision is, post this at them. I mean, this is just brutal. I mean, if you're for this, you're for some nasty stuff. And I said, oh, this is your words, not mine. And then he says, it's your boy's words, though. This is some guy I've never met. I don't think he even follows me. You know, he's quoting someone who isn't me to argue against me, because he's got this really emotional, defensive need to argue with me. And it's sort of like people are talking to him, they're arguing against him, and it's all coming at him at the same time. And he's freaking out a little bit, right? I didn't reply to him because it's like, well, he accused me of saying something I didn't. I told him I didn't, and now he's saying that, well, because some other person said it, it's okay to accuse me of saying that, right? That's like a hyper emotionalism. I didn't feel any need to engage with him at that point, right? But definitely grab this image, post it at people. But, you know, my goal is to, my goal in all this is not to take people like this and to convince them that their parents didn't love them. And it's not to convince them that they hate their children. The only thing I care about is seeing less children being mutilated, right? If his son eventually talks to him about the circumcision and questions him and suggests that his father, that this guy did a bad thing, well, I hope they can reconcile, right? Like, I'm hoping for some healing and reconciliation, because that's what's needed. A bad thing was done. I'm telling you, it's bad. Shouldn't have been done. But hopefully we can learn from it, reconcile, heal. We can't ever unmutilate the kid, but maybe we can stop the cycle. So, again, I don't hate this guy. He's being defensive, whatever. But anyway, I think it's time to ban that stuff. Time to ban it. Nero says imagery is important to sell ideas. Yeah, well, that's why memes are so popular. Yeah, so that's a good image to save. I told you about a couple good images to save. This one. And then there's that other image, right? Let me see if I can bring that up. Media. This is the other one for the Pride parades. Oh, where is it? Oh, yeah. And this one. Right. When people talk to you about Pride parades, I shove this one around. This is some of the stuff that happens at Pride parades, right? Toddler watching a 9-year-old boy cross-dressing, dancing for money from adult homosexual men. Like, this is... Congratulations on your Pride parade. That's really great. That's really great. Have fun at your Pride parade. God. Ando says, I think the internet has helped turn more people against it. I do think that's true. And I'm glad for that. Let's get less mutilation of babies. So Johnny 5K is mentioning that in the Far East, it might be better for your health. Well, you have the sometimes problem where the foreskin is like too small or whatever. And I know that's a problem over there, maybe more than here. I don't know if that's exaggerated or not. I've never seen statistics about it. But like, if you need to have your foreskin medically altered, it probably doesn't have to be removed. And even if it does have to be removed, it probably only needs to be removed from those people. Like, we could remove the breasts of every young girl so they'll never get breast cancer. Oh, or we could just remove the breasts from the ones who do. Right? I'm not on board with like across the board mutilation. And God forbid your kid ends up being one of the, like, there's a small percentage, but it does happen, of young boys, they get circumcised, it gets infected, and they end up having, well, he ends up losing his whole penis. Right. What is that okay to do? Like, well, you know, when you're dealing with very large numbers, you can start to calculate, like, okay, we're going to keep things clean as possible. We're going to do all these things to reduce the risks, and we know that like 1 out of 50 or 100,000 boys will lose their penis due to this, and it's like, we're this is insane. Why would you do that? Rule, awful, nasty, just nasty. Anyway. Okay, I'm out of here. I'm out for the day. I hope you all have a good rest of your weekend. I'll see you on Wednesday. On Wednesday, I'll probably be playing more Tell Me Why. We're gonna get into that just a little bit more. I'm sure the free episode will probably end on Wednesday. We'll be done with it. We'll move on to greater things after that. Peace out, everybody. And remember, welcome to Embargo. Love you.
Welcome to Costco. I love you. Welcome to Costco. I love you. Welcome to Costco. I love you. Welcome here.